going live. Okay, we're live.
We're rolling, huh? Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Real Talk with Real Estate Investor shows. I hope you guys are having a great day. And today we have a very, very special friend and guest in the show. His name is Bubba Malbrough, and he is a member of our network, Apex, but also when he's not knocking down deals left and right, he's knocking people out in the cage. So he's a really badass investor and a wholesaler, and he's gonna be here with us today, sharing some tips, knowledge, and value for you guys can take all this and start implementing in your business. So Bubba, welcome to the show, man. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Welcome.
I'm glad to be on, guys.
Man, we're glad to have you, Bubba. We're super excited, man. As a real estate wholesaler and investor myself, man, it's always great to have a chance to sit down and chat with another expert and really learn some tips and secrets and some things that you've used in the industry and so forth. And looking forward to you sharing that information with our audience today. You know, we're going to go and kind of dig right into this. And, you know, one of the things that our audience always wants to know, you know, especially for the folks that are just getting started or, looking and thinking about getting into the industry is, how did all this come about for you? How did you get involved in the industry?
Well, let's start back a little bit before I got in. 2015, I went through I got custody of my oldest little boy in January 2017. But before that, I went through a long custody battle. Took all of 2015, all of 2016, and it took a lot of money and resources for that to happen on my end. And right now I'm actually on a job right now. I'm in quality control inspecting refineries as well. And it took me, I was constantly working. I was hardly ever home. I think I worked 11 months out that year on the roads. And just to get, the money needed to get custody of my little boy or whatever. And when I got custody of him in January of 2017, I knew at that point that working on the roads was not for me anymore. So I had to start finding a different way to make an income. So I reached out to Alan Belcher. I've been knowing Alan for years. I knew he had an entrepreneurial mindset. So I reached out to him, talked to him about some few ideas. He's one who actually planted the seed of real estate investing in my head. I didn't know a damn thing about real estate at the time. I was like, "What, I need to get a real estate license? How do I need to work this?" And he was like,
Sure.
"No, man, just look up this guy." And he gave me a guru's name. I'm not going to say what guru it was, but he gave me a guru's name. So I looked him up, brought into a program. And it was a good program to get me started, but then I had it still left a bunch of unanswered questions I had. I had nobody to turn to, and that's basically how I got started in the industry. And then November of 2017, I had my second little boy, so the urgency was there for me to get started in the industry hard and try to stay off the road a little bit.
Awesome, man. So basically for you, like a lot of folks and myself included, is, number one, you wanted to get away from the grind a little bit, right? You were traveling a lot on the road. You had some kids, and coming along and life needed to change a little bit. So you changed life, right? But along with that, obviously, I'm sure somebody, Alan Belcher, kind of the bug in your ear that, hey man, you can really make a lot of money with this stuff and not have, some huge investments involved, right? Or anything like that. I know that a lot of people hear this concept of, flipping real estate with no money down. But when you hear that initially, you think it's bullshit, right? It's like, what's the catch? I don't have any money, how's this all going to work? But, you start seeing other folks that are doing it, and it starts becoming something that is a real possibility, right? And so it sounds like you got involved, like you said, like a lot of folks do. You bought into an educational course, you got a little bit of a background there and decided to kind of give it a shot. Now, you, like a lot of folks, myself included, I was scared shitless even after I thought that I had learned some stuff. I was afraid to fuck some things up and you know, afraid to take action, you know, because I didn't want to screw up a deal. I didn't want to get sued. I didn't want all these different things to happen, right? So
That's right.
once you learned and you got a little bit of an educational background, how long was it before you took action? And then how long after that before you found your first deal?
I took action like immediately. Like I was so hungry to stay off the roads and so hungry to stay out of the refinery industry that I took action immediately. But deals don't stop coming, you know, and I didn't get no, I live in South Mississippi and it's not an abundance of active real estate buyers there. So building a cash buyers list was really hard for me. So I went on a job in Texas, like that was in January. So I went on a job in Texas in February, South Texas. And I was working night shifts and I was just driving around one day and I found this property. And it was probably 2 months after I bought into the program that I got my first property under contract. I was in Texas. I was like, I didn't know what to fucking do. So I went to a real meetup and then I met an investor there and I was telling him about, you know, kind of who I was. He knew I was green as hell. And he was like, man, I got a buyer to fight for that property. And, you know, we got my first deal and we got it flipped and we split the profit. And that's how my first 11 deals went. I'd find a property, get it under contract, and I had to rely on other investors to give me buyers. And then we were just splitting profit. And then when I came back to South Mississippi and I put a property under contract in the county I live in. And it's not a desirable school district. And I got a really good deal on this property. I was like, oh yeah, you know, this is such a good price. I know I'm able to flip this property. I tell you, it was every resource. I pulled every cat out the bag, man, and I couldn't get the property turned around, and I felt so bad because I was really trying to genuinely help these people. The husband had cancer, she was old, and they couldn't get up and down the stairs in their house. And I kind of backed off of wholesaling for a little bit, and I recently just got back into it.
Gotcha. Okay. Now you mentioned a few things there that I want to touch base on. There. Number one, you JV partnered with somebody there in the beginning, which I think is extremely important. But I'll get to that just here in a second. You mentioned that you, I guess, were driving for dollars originally.
Yes.
For getting your deals.
Yes.
Okay. And was that how the first 10 or 11 came about? You were just kind of
that and
any other strategies?
Yeah, that and Facebook Marketplace, man. I found a bunch of for sale buy owners on there, and I really got up with them. Like if I went up, like I did some in North Alabama, so I got on the marketplace when I was up there. Just changed my location up to North Alabama, and I found some property, and I was able to negotiate some deals up that way as well.
That's awesome, man. And I love that you mentioned that as well. That's one of the things that I teach in my program is a lot of the new digital marketing techniques. Technology is that, listen, there's a million different wholesaling courses that are out there, right? And a lot of the folks are teaching older, antiquated, techniques that I'm not saying that don't work, but when you got a ton of people doing the same thing, it's a little bit tougher to find deals. So I appreciate you mentioning the marketplace there. Tell our viewers what you made your first deal, if you don't mind.
I made $2,500.
Okay, nice. And that was a split, right?
That was split. Yeah, so it was $5,000 on the total deal, but my half was $2,500. I thought I'd hit the jackpot. I was more relieved that I was able to get rid of the property than the money actually, because I make more than that in a week working in the refinery. So it was like that $2,500 really wasn't an abundance of amount of money to me, but it was more so that I accomplished getting my first deal under my belt.
Proof of concept too, right?
That's right. That's exactly right.
And what you're saying is very important, because I'm sure that first deal is like when you see the first lead coming into your funnel, right? That you get so excited, like finally you start seeing those little results. And I think that's what really pushes you to keep pushing forward and start closing more deals, right?
That is correct. I kept going and going and going.
And you said that you were using Facebook Marketplace. That's a really good place where these guys can start generating leads. Like my wife, she's a real estate agent, and she just generated like over 300 leads organically also from Marketplace. So it's a good place if you know how to use it and how to prospect. So maybe you can share with our group a little bit why you've been doing on the marketplace, because a lot of people are skeptical about it, you know, but it's a great place, where you can find leads and good deals as well.
Yeah. So like what I do is I'll find a property that kind of meets the criteria of what I'm looking for at that time. And I'll reach out to whoever posted it and tell them, kind of explain to them, I'm a real estate investor. I'm looking to invest in your property. When can I jump on a phone call? And it's the faster I get them on a phone call, the faster I can talk to them and see how much they're willing to come down, if they're willing to come down at all. And I'm already kind of on that property. If I'm interested in that property, I'm already starting to do my due diligence on that property before I really kind of reach out to them. That way I get a sense of what the property's kind of actually worth, and if their asking prices are really astronomical, like way above, and there's a gap, too much of a gap there. And I'm trying to fill out, see kind of how motivated they are to sell, because that is a key component to selling properties as well.
So
or buying properties.
Do you do a little? Are you saying that you do a little bit of research and try to find out what that property is worth prior to reaching out to see if we're in the ballpark or not? Is that what you're kind of doing?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. And then from there, now I know that you live in Mississippi, and it's kind of a, you said, a small town environment where maybe you're kind of limited and restricted on the amount of deals that might be in your surroundings. Are you primarily doing everything virtual these days?
Yeah, so I tell you what's cool, man. I got a guy that I've been knowing for quite a few years, and me and him's kind of partnered on some things. He's really good at getting my deals under contract. So I'm basically, right now, we're just trying to link buyers to his deals. Because like I said, in my area, there is the few deals that I have found here, they fell through. It's just not an abundance of cash buyers in my area. I've linked up with some of the top investors in my area, and they're just not actively buying like they would in like Dallas or Austin or San Francisco, Phoenix. They're just not one or two houses a year. There's a bunch of mom and pop investors here that are old school. They're old school in their ways. That's how their grandpa taught them. That's how their dad taught them. That's how they still invest in real estate. So it's really hard to find cash buyers in my area over a certain number amount. So like that property that I got in my area that was that I got a real good price, $102,000. It ARV'd at like 180.
Right.
And it needed like minimal, cosmetic work. Everything's been updated, the plumbing, the electrical. So it was like a home run deal. But having somebody have $100,000 on hand in my area, it's like, I'm not saying it's impossible. They're there, but they're not ready to invest in that school district at that time.
So right now, you said that you've got a partner somewhere. Is that here in Texas, or where is that at?
No, he's actually up in Tennessee, up in
Tennessee. And so
yeah.
you guys are primarily working your deals there in Tennessee, or are you guys going after other properties throughout the nation?
No, he's actually finding properties in Mississippi on the coast in Hattiesburg area, which is another place that I look for properties at as well, because I'm not too far from either one of those places. So I'm always looking for properties in Hattiesburg and Biloxi, because for one, Hattiesburg has two universities in Hattiesburg. So rental properties there will always be needed for that reason. And on the coast, if you want to consider Mississippi Gulf Coast as a tourist area, rentals down there are also needed. We got the Air Force Base down there, and then they have a bunch of festivals and stuff in there constantly. So the Mississippi Gulf Coast and Hattiesburg are like the two areas I also look in as well.
Gotcha.
But I mean, I think we have a great example here, because the fact that you are living in a place where there's no many deals going on, that hasn't stopped you from going beyond the place you live to start finding deals and start finding even partners where you can start closing more deals. So that's basically a great example of fuck your excuses, right?
That's right.
Exactly.
Say the same thing. Boom. Yeah, you can't use that as a crutch, right? Hey, listen, if it ain't gonna work where you're at, doesn't mean that you got to be stopped, right?
That's right. They're somewhat close within drive. I say within drive. To me, driving distance is within 6 hours. To me, that's driving distance. I've traveled the roads for so long, but there's someone within driving distance of you that there's a buyer, there's a market that you can jump in. If it's not your market, find another market. There's desirable markets around you, whether it's a school district, desirable school district that people are looking to get into, there's markets somewhere in your area within driving distance of you that you can find to jump in and find deals.
Okay, so let me kind of piggyback on that just a little bit. I'd like for you to kind of break down that process for the folks that are in a small town environment. Explain, you know, where you might look in your surroundings, or, you know, how you might find those hot areas and decide, you know, where to go. And I assume when you say you're driving, you're setting the appointment and going out there, and you might have to go a couple hours and not get a deal, right?
That's right, man.
So explain a little bit to us about maybe how you would go about deciding, you know, which area might be good for you if your area is not good. And then how do you line up a bunch of appointments in one day and go after it? Or do you just take that chance and go after it?
So like, I wouldn't physically get in my vehicle and like drive to Lake Charles, Louisiana and just drive around for dollars. But what I would do if I was in that area, like I said, I travel for work still from time to time. Like I'm down in South Louisiana right now. So like when I'm down in this area, I will drive around in my area, in this area down here, and look for properties. If I find a property, I will start researching on if there's investors in this area that are in the market to buy properties, right? So once I find that, if I find an investor in this area and I know he's looking for properties, I'll continue to look in this area and other markets around this area that he's investing in. So I've done that for since 2017, a couple of years. Every area that I go to work in, that I've traveled to work in, I've always tried to link up with investors in that area. I look at it as a networking tool for me. I'm gonna be on the road. Instead of making it misery on me, I don't want to be away from my family, but being that I am away from my family, I got to make the best of the situation. So I try to link out to other investors in those areas. What areas are hot, what areas are not, which areas to invest in and look for properties, and which ones not to invest in, and which ones are they currently investing in. So I link up with them in those areas. So in Louisiana, I've got a chain of people that I could reach out to if I find properties in Louisiana in certain areas. Alabama's the same way. And South Texas, like part of South Texas. I guess that'd be East Texas, not really South Texas, but like kind of like East Texas.
And I think that that's super smart too. And that's one of the things that I tell folks a lot when they're looking to get in this industry is go ahead and build your buyers list first. Find your buyers, find your investors, you know, see where they're at, see what they're looking for. And folks, you know, maybe many years ago would have trouble finding those buyers and putting that together. But now there's 100 different investor groups out there, and all you have to do is, hey, who's buying where? And next thing you know, you've got 30 people that are commenting. It's so easy. Just go to every single group and say, hey, look, I'm looking to get involved, wondering who's buying the area, and they'll tell you. It's funny how that works, right? So
yeah, exactly.
And then
you know,
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it from there. It's just, hey, what do you want? Where do you want it? And then go out and look for it, right? You know, and
yeah,
I had 𝗥𝗲 on last week, and that's one of the things that he really kind of harped on is kind of almost reverse wholesaling, basically. Instead of driving around and finding the property and looking for the buyer, it sometimes makes things a little bit easier if you know what the buyer's looking for, and then you just go looking for the property, right?
Exactly. I got a couple investors in my area that I know what they're looking for. So when I come across it, I already know that they're ready to buy for that area. So I got a guy, he's a developer. So he's really just looking for raw land that he don't have to do too much clearing on. So when I come across that, I already know how many acres he's looking for, that I can present it to him and already know he's going to buy that property, you know? So, and you know, I feel like you need to position yourself to some of these cash buyers as what you can do to help them instead of what, you know, about me. That's how I position. I'd say, hey man, what can I do to help you? How can I help you find the properties you're looking for? What's your criteria? And then once you know that, and when you come across that criteria, whatever it is, you know what your cash buyers looking for, it's so much easier to move that property again.
That's right. And it also kind of removes that fear of that a lot of folks have in the beginning is, oh God, you know, if I don't want to get stuck with this property, I don't want to go south, I don't want to get sued, I don't want to piss these people off, I don't want to ruin my name and all this stuff people are fearful of, myself included in the beginning. And so if you know what your buyer's looking for and you're able to connect that dot for them, you know that you're in good shape, right? You know, and
That's right.
Removes that
I agree.
doubt here there. And then, you know, the other part of it is too, is that, and this is where I think more people should really be doing this, is find somebody to partner with, you know, at least for a couple of deals, learn the process, learn how to do repairs, learn how to factor ARVs and all these different things so that, you know, things don't get screwed up, you know, and chances are they probably wouldn't anyway, but you just never. Uh-oh. Pedro just you wiped out, brother.
That's
Shit
all.
happens, man. I'm not in my office today, so what can I do?
Pedro's been
goes.
doing podcast since 9 o'clock.
But you know what? Fuck your excuses. I'm here. I showed up.
That's right.
But yeah, man, you know, I think, you know, for a lot of these folks that are tuning in and listening and that are in this network, you know, I always say it. We got 17,000 folks in this network, and I'd be willing to bet that, you know, half or less have actually went out and gotten their own deal yet. And a lot of it has to do with fear of screwing up. You know what I mean? And one way is to kind of overcome that fear is to, number one, partner with somebody. And number two, you know, build your buyers list, find out what they're looking for. So, hey, okay, if this is what they're looking for, I go out and find that property. Now I've got somebody to partner with to help me screwing this up. And it just really helps to streamline the deal. Now, I'm not sitting here telling the folks watching that, you know, hey, I'm going to partner with everybody and give away, you know, half my life for the rest of my life, you know, because the thing is that here in Dallas, and I don't know what it's like there in Mississippi, but my average assignment's somewhere between 10 and 15K. So it's pretty stout. Every now and then, you know, we'll have some pretty, some really big deals, you know, they don't come across, you know, as often as I would prefer. In fact, me and Pedro were talking about last night that my partner, 𝗥𝗲𝗧𝗹𝗸, who is also in Apex as well. I don't know if you're familiar with him or not, but we've been working this one property that's $1 million property for about 3 months now. And we're getting closer, you know, to a deal. And to not bore you with the whole story, but, you know, basically a wife's husband died. She didn't want to be there anymore. I got this big ass house. And just trying to work something out with the kids. But if we get it, we're going to pick it up for like $750. And so it's gonna be a monster deal. And again, for the folks listening, I'm not saying that every deal is like that, but you pull one deal a year like that, and you balance it out with these $5,000, $10,000, and $15,000 deals, you're in good shape.
But you know, Bubba also mentioned something that I believe that it is very important to talk about, and probably most of our guests haven't talked about that yet. And every time he talks about the deals and how he started finding people, you have always said in this interview, Bubba, that you are trying to find people to help. So for me, that sounds that you have clear what is your goal and what is the reason that you have clear the reasons why you are in this industry, you know. But at the end of the day, is to help people, right? Which
that's right.
I believe so many people, especially the people starting in real estate investment, they get excited about the money, but I think it's important too to have to find exactly why you're getting into this, you know. And I guess you decided to get into this because you wanted to help others, not only because of the money. I mean, if the money is your first reason, I think you have something wrong in your mind that needs to be rewired, right? Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, man, I've always been the type of person that loves helping people, man. I actually started a Facebook group for blue collar workers. I believe you're in it. And it's for blue collar workers, man, just because there's so much value that I feel like I could bleed off onto them just to help them. It doesn't matter if they get into real estate. I mean, that's not the goal for them to get into real estate or them to buy into my properties. The goal is to help them see that there's another side to life besides working to the day you die in an industry for another man that really don't give a fuck about you, right? So I guess that came like that sense of helping someone came from my grandpa. You know, my grandpa was like that, man. He'd give you the shirt off his back, and I've watched him give the shirt off his back to somebody before. And I guess being raised with my grandparents for a while and being around him so much, it kind of bled off into me, man. Because like I genuinely love helping people, man. It's nothing makes me happier in life than knowing that I helped somebody through a situation or a circumstance. Anything, something small to something big, man. It really brings a smile on my face.
I
And I
love
feel
it.
like if you put that ahead of everything, like money's great. I tell anybody, I'm a materialistic fuck. I love money, but you got to have something else that leads you beside money. And mine is helping people. I genuinely love helping people, and that makes me happier than any amount of money you put in front of me.
And I love to hear that, man. Service first, serve others first. And, what do they say? The quickest way to get what you want is by helping other folks get what they want first, right?
And it's true.
And I have a feeling too that, that your why with a lot of this is also in addition to helping others, but creating that freedom for you and your family. The money also allows you to buy back some time. And I know that you've got a couple of boys right now, a little girl on the way. For the folks that are listening that either, that haven't not gotten the industry because they're saying, hey, look, I've got kids to take care of or whatever. What do you say to that? How do you balance all of that out, and how do you work through that? And how do you, what's your thing,
My thing is long days, man. My grandpa used to tell me lazy feet don't eat, man. So I was raised with the mentality of working hard. So hard work. When people tell me something's hard, I mean, I feel like that they haven't really been through anything hard in life. Because I don't look at any task like it's going to be hard. Maybe a little, trouble here and there from the unknown of not knowing, but like something being hard, it's just never really crosses my mind.
Mm-hmm.
But you really just got to take action, bro. Like we can sit here and like we talk about it. I talked about it with several people, man. You can go to all the seminars, you could read all the books, you can have all the knowledge, but if you do not take action, none of that means shit.
That's right.
So
That's
you
right.
got to take massive action. Not everybody has circumstances, everybody has situations of why they can't get started, but you can't let those situations deter you, determine where you end up in life, right? So if you don't take that action now, when are you going to take that action? Nothing. The stars are never perfectly lined up.
That's right.
To take action. So you got to take it at any time. It could be your lowest time or your highest time. You just got to take action. And that's just what I did. And it's tough sometimes. Like I was here. Me and Paul's been working on a couple deals in Hattiesburg, and we've been running numbers. And I still have my obligations here at the job I'm on, but also have obligations. On my real estate side, I still have family obligations. So how I don't know, sometimes I ask myself, how do I do it? But I think it's just that I'm just driven. I'm just driven to do it.
That's awesome, man. I love to hear that. And so while we're on the topic right now, you've got a lot going on, and a lot to balance out in the day-to-day life. But amongst being an investor and a family man and having another job as well to help support your family, you also do a little cage fighting, right?
I do.
That.
Man,
you don't want to mess with Bubba. You don't want to mess with Bubba, man.
That's been a passion of mine, man. Before I had all this going on, I actually, 2015, I had my last mixed martial arts fight when I started going through my custody battle. That like I said, took a lot of time and resources and money. So I was really having to hump and work hard to make all the money because the only way I knew how to make money was work, turnaround. That's be a blue collar worker, work turnarounds, make some paychecks, and I was funneling to bills and to my lawyer, bills and lawyers. That's where I was funneling my money to for 2 years, just about. And BKFC came out in 2000. The Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship that I just fought in August. They came, I want to say 2018. They showed their face in the industry. And I was thought, man, that's pretty cool, man. And I was like, yeah, I was real fat and out of shape, man. I was like, man, I really don't want to know if I want to train and cut weight for this shit. I talked back and forth to the guy that does all the matchmaking for the Mississippi fights. I used to fight for him. He used to own the organization I fought for. So he knew I like to bang, so he hit me up a couple times. Said, hey man, this be something right up your alley. I said, yeah. we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. And then the August fight rolled around. He gave me about 5 months notice, and I was like, ooh. He said, I'll confirm, whenever we match the card, we'll confirm. And May rolled around, May 20th, I still remember the day. He said, all right, you're officially on the card. I was 276 pounds. He said, what you want to fight at? I was like, I don't know, 215. And he was like, for real? I was like, yeah, 215. He's all right, get ready. And just, I set such an extreme goal because I knew if I would have never set that extreme goal, if I would say, okay, I'll just do it at heavyweight and I just had to lose 11 pounds to make weight, then I would have never got in tip-top shape for a fight, right? So I set an extreme goal, 215. I came down from 276. I made weight at 216. They allow you a pound. And it was tough. It was tough. I was working a turnaround. I was still working real estate deals. I was in California for some of it, so I did most of my training camp in California. So it was tough, man. I was getting up, training 2 hours before work. I get off work, train 2 hours, and I was trying to juggle real estate between the time that I had off because my priority kind of shifted to the fighting at that time. So
I got you. Would you say that? Do you kind of? I mean, you've got a lot going on, a lot to manage, and you know, a lot to do throughout any given day. Do you schedule out your day accordingly and kind of go by any particular schedule to allow you to work efficiently?
Yeah, I try to schedule out my weeks on Sunday. That way I know, because, you know, like I said, I'm working right now. So I only got so much time in a day. So I try to schedule when I get off of work, what can I do between the time I get off and the time I have to go to sleep and get up and do it all over again, right? So on Sundays is my planning day. I try to plan out my week. But, you know, sometimes things pop up during the week. Like Paul came in with a couple deals, you know. So kind of shifted. That kind of was out of schedule. But you know what? It's cool with me because, you know, I had a little free time and I could take care of it. So, yeah, on Sundays is my planning day, man. I try to plan out my week. That way I've always sucked at being time efficient on things. And I mean, I think that's something a lot of people can work on is being more time efficient on things. Because how many times, I mean, you might not have, but I know I have, like scrolling through Facebook Marketplace and I'd have a notification pop up and next thing I know, 20 minutes ago went by.
Go down the rabbit hole, right?
Yeah. So, you know, I'm not perfect, man, but I strive to follow my schedule weekly. You know, sometimes I do get off course, but making a schedule for the week on Sundays is the key things that's been able to help me.
Well, you know, Bubba, you're obviously an inspiration to a lot of the folks that are listening now because you've shown that it's possible. You know, you've shown that, hey, look, I can have a job, or I can have 2 jobs, I can have a family, and I can go out and train for fights and so forth. So anybody else that's listening that's saying, hey, look, you know, there's no way because of this, and this, you know, that's just really honestly a lie that they're telling themselves that they've made true, right?
That's right, an excuse.
It is a great example of what, I mean, that everything you want to do is possible, you know? Because I remember it was last year that you went through that transformation. You lost all that weight. It was incredible to see that transformation in you, man. Like, and now that I know more that you have 2 jobs and with fighting and the real estate investment and all that stuff, it's a clear example that the only way or the only reason why people out there is not making shit happening is because they just put in a bunch of excuses and they're just scared to take action, you know. But you're a great example of what can be possible when you decide to move forward, take action, and organize your time too. You know, take advantage of the only asset that we're never gonna get back, and that's our time. You know.
That's right.
You know, 𝗥𝗲 dropped us a little nugget last week that I know that kind of stuck in my head and Pedro's as well. That, you know, a lot of times we get in the habit of telling ourselves that we can't do something. It's like, oh, I can't do it, you know, and we just move on, and that's immediately made it okay in our mind, right? But Kent said, hey, listen, instead of saying the next time that you go to say, I can't, tell yourself I'm choosing not to. And boy, that fucks with your head a little bit. It's like, well, why am I choosing not to do this? You know, like, damn, why would I want to not do something? I can't makes it easy. I'm choosing not to kind of puts it on you and forces you to take action, right? Boy, that
I
was
agree.
stuck with me there.
Yeah, I've been using that little trick like for 2 weeks, and it's been changing my life, man.
For real.
Yeah.
Real. So
You know, that's funny you say that, because I tell that to people all the time when they say I can't do that. I say no, it's not that you can't. It's you just choose not to do it. That's the difference. That's something I've told people for since I've been on my journey, right? So because I believe that, like if you say I can't, it's just because you just really say, okay, I choose not to, or it's not of great importance to you. It's not a priority to you to do it at that time.
I dig it, man. I dig it.
Yeah.
So for the folks that are listening that haven't made the jump just yet, what advice would you give them to go after it? And what is the first thing that you would do or recommend to go out and get their first deal?
Definitely partner with somebody. I think that's been key for me. Is it, you know, and I'm not saying go out. You know, I see a lot of newbies. They'll go out and they're scared to give up 50% of their assignment fee. Be happy to give up that 50%, because the value you're going to get out of that first deal is worth way more than the money you're giving up.
That's right.
You know, go out and partner with somebody. Show them that you're serious. Don't tell them go in there and bullshit around with them. Show them that you're serious about it. You know, don't say, oh, I want to do this, then you sleep to 9, 10 o'clock in the day. Get up, show a sense of urgency. Urgency is another thing. It's another key. You got to be urgent about this stuff, because some deals, man, they come and go fast. You don't jump on it, they gone fast. Somebody else
that's the truth, boy.
Yeah.
There's a huge sense of urgency there. And I tell you what, you know, I know I was like this in the beginning as well. It's like, okay, well, I found this deal, right? And so I started taking a bunch of time, you know, trying to get all of everything perfect, you know, in the line. And then a few days go by. It's like, I think I'm ready to do this or whatever. And you go and call them back, and they're like, well, I made a deal 2 days ago. And it's like, oh man.
Yeah.
And so those things will happen if you don't just hop on it. So for the folks that are listening in and that are going out and think about how much time that you're putting in to find that deal. If you're putting in all that time and effort into finding the deal and then do nothing about it, then all that time is wasted. So, you know, I think that's important. What you said is, hey, listen, dive in, go to work, find the deal, take action on it, and realize, hey, well, number one, if you're going to JV with somebody, which I'd strongly recommend, do it. But if not, listen, you know, be okay with screwing up. You know what I mean? You know, there's certain things to get screwed up, and guess what? That's you'll never make that same mistake again. I promise. If a deal falls through because you screwed something up, it'll be a huge lesson learned. You know what I mean? So I think it's
no doubt.
And dive in. You'll realize that you'll never be the expert. You'll never be the best. You know what I mean? You know, don't fall into that trap of by analysis. Jump in, get it done, and you know, see where it goes, then do it again. Right?
Yeah, man. I think the best lessons learned are the ones from your mistakes.
That's
Whether
right.
it's your mistake, you know, I think the ones where you do your personal mistakes, then those are the best lessons. But then if you learn from somebody else's mistake, that's also a good lesson too. But don't be scared to fuck up. I mean, I still fuck up, and I've been in this shit 2 years, you know, going on 3 years. So I still do it. So it's you know, just, you know what, take it like a champ, roll with it, man.
Dig it, man.
That makes a lot of sense. You know, like I made a video this morning where I'm talking about the only thing that we really regret in life is the shit that we don't take action on. You know, like if you really think about all the things that you have done in your life and all the mistakes that you have made in your life, you don't regret any of that shit. You know, you just regret the stuff that you haven't done. So, I mean, it's just go. You have to go for it.
Yeah. You don't want to be that guy at the very end of life looking back and saying, damn, man, I wish I would have done things differently. Because sooner or later, you got to realize, listen, we only live once. We only got one shot at this, right? You know, so fall into that trap that so many do where, you know, you're just, you know, you're cruising. You always wanted to do something different, but you never took action on it. Just do it. Be humble enough to know that you're probably going to make mistakes and learn from it and keep getting better. And before you know it, you know, you'll be where you're at, or where Pedro's at, or where I'm at, or where any of these other folks that are, crushing it, because we were all there before. You know what I mean? And
That's right.
hey, we just had to say, fuck it, go in and get it done, right?
Yep, I literally just told that to some of my coworkers this morning. You do not want to be on your deathbed saying, man, I wish I would have did X, Y, and Z. Dying with regret, I feel like would be one of the worst ways to die. Knowing that you regretted that you didn't take the action, you regret that you didn't take that opportunity and capitalize on it. I feel like that'd be a pretty rough way to die. Nobody wants that in life, so I try to bleed off my coworkers, they all about taking action as well, Whereas, man, I wish I was, I say I didn't get here by I just didn't wake up one day and was here. It's taken me a long time. Yeah, it's taken me a long time to get on here. Like 2 years ago, ain't no way I've been able to get on camera and have, this. Ain't no way I would be able to do it in my group, It's all a process. It's a journey. And that journey is what makes you who you are. That's where the growth happens in that journey, right?
That's so true.
So,
and that is so true. And I think a lot of folks didn't see other folks being successful, that they just assumed that the light switch just turned on one day. You don't get to see a lot of the trials and tribulations and pain and suffering and being broke and whatever the hell else, all these different problems come to rise. That just got to push through, man. You just got to push through and focus on, keep your eye on a prize, have a process in place to get there, and just take it by day and keep moving forward, right?
That's right. You got, you can't let the circumstances and the things that fail. You can't focus on those issues. You just got to stay focused on the goal, the end goal, the goal where you're going. And then I feel like a lot of people, man, they get knocked down a couple times, and just say on the growth of real estate, say if they do get a couple houses under contract, and they fall through, and then they say, all right, this ain't for me. Well, they haven't grown and learned enough yet to know that it is for them. I just feel like if they just keep going, it will all come together and it'll be all worth it in the end. Some people focus on the circumstances over the goal.
Boy, that's so true, man. And I think a lot of folks, are pushing, and a lot of folks give up right when they're on the brinks of something big happening. It's just make it right all the way up to the wall and quit. And it's just like, man, you just got to keep going. If you know that this worked, and then listen, here's the thing is that we're not the only folks doing this. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of folks doing this exact same thing. And so you got to look at it like that. It's like, none of these people started out with a silver spoon in their mouth, and then shit was happening and going on, and it pushed you to that point of, hey, listen, I need to do something different. You know what I mean? And so it's just like you said, man, at some point you got to take action and so forth, right? And just
right, bro.
Process and go, and no regrets, right?
No regrets. Hey, if you fuck up, fuck it. Just
right.
Brush it off and keep on going, man. I still fuck up from time to time, but what? That's part of the journey.
That's right, man. Well, we want to appreciate you and thank you for coming on the show today. You shared a lot of value and wisdom with our audience. You've given them a lot of hope and showing them the possibilities of what's out there. And I know that you believe that if you can do it, everybody else can do it too, man. It's just a matter of getting your mind right and taking action. I know that you've got a fight coming up, I guess, here in a few months. Is that right? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'm looking to fight in April. We got another bare knuckle fight coming up in Biloxi in April, and right now they're focused on the February and March cards, so they haven't started matchmaking for the April card yet. So hopefully I get put on the card. That's the goal. I done talked to the matchmaker. I'm supposed to be on the card, but we won't know till everything's finalized.
Right.
And but if I am, I'll be fighting April. I don't know the date yet, but in Biloxi, 𝗏𝗏.
And that's the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships for the folks that might have missed that. Bubba, how do folks find out about you? I think you've got a website right there. Is that the place to go, or where do we know about you?
Oh yeah, it's just my name. If you want to know more about me, just follow me on Facebook or Instagram. Man, I'm pretty active on those two platforms. Got a TikTok, but I'm not too much on it. But you can reach out to me on Facebook. I got Facebook group they're welcome to reach out to me on. That's a Blue Collar Alliance. If you're in the construction world, you know, and you want to learn more about what we're doing over there, jump on over there and check us out. Yeah, if you got any questions, comments, concerns, bitches, or complaints, hey, reach out to me in my inbox. I'm always there.
Awesome. We sure,
Yeah.
man. Thanks again for everything and coming on the show. We truly appreciate it. Is there anything that you would like to leave our audience with before we sign off here?
Yeah, just I feel like mindset's a big key factor to where I've gotten to in my life on my journey. That I'm gonna talk about this. I'm actually writing a book right now. How I took my fighter mentality and my mindset and kind of transitioned into the business world. So I feel like that you definitely need to have a strong mindset. Don't let your mindset, because you always your worst enemy, right? You stand in your own way. So listen to mindset podcasts and read mindset books to help grow your mindset and think bigger. I think thinking bigger and more abundantly has helped me a lot through my journey, and it can help anybody, I feel like.
So true, man. Mind changing life, right?
That's right, bro.
Pedro, do you have anything for us?
No, man, I just want to say thank you to Bubba, because I think you really share a lot of value here, especially for the guys that are on the fence trying to get that first deal or trying to get more deals in the pipeline and all that stuff. So I'm glad that you share all that with us, because like I said before, you are a great example of what can be done, you know, and what's possible when you just remove all the excuses out of your mind. So I'm really thankful for that, man. Thank you for sharing that with us and our group. I'm sure a lot of people will be really grateful about it too. So thank you, man.
Yes,
Thank y'all for having me on, Bob.
All right. We appreciate you, man. You have a great one. We look forward to seeing you fight here in a few months, and we'll also see you at the mastermind too, man.
Yes, sir. Y'all take care.
All right, y'all. Thanks again.
Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next week, because we have a very, very big and special guest. So stay alert, because we're gonna share with you guys who we're gonna have next week. So thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Later.